Thank you so very much for joining me tonight. I go by Lune INNATE, and what I'm creating for you is the Leo season 2020 video that I make each month, each season. This is not just for Leos. We are all experiencing Leo season, although of course, happy birthday Leos. My son's a Leo. I'm a Leo rising. I've got a lot of Leos in my life in general. I love all the signs. I love all the signs, but I really do love Leo energy. I think it's something that most people, and I'm granted this is a crazy year, but most people generally do okay during Leo season. Like Cancerian season's known to toss us around a bit. Capricorn season's known to be pretty intense. Leo season is generally, for the most part, pretty comfortable for all of us because it is the time when the sun returns to its house. The house of Leo is the sun, like Leo and the sun are correspondent. Does that make sense? Am I saying that right? I'm saying it weird, but the sun is the planet of Leo, so it returns. And what's interesting about the sun, it's kind of obvious, right? But like right now, we have all these planets in retrograde. The sun will never be in retrograde for us, so it's really kind of supportive that we can connect through Leo season, through this time of the sun, the celebration. Like what does the sun represent? It represents the soul, it represents the ego, the self, the individual shining, the inner child, our truth, like showing up, being us, celebrating ourselves and all this stuff. So it's generally pretty good. It's a pretty good season. So let's keep our fingers crossed, right? And we'll see, of course, what comes up. We're basically going to chat a little bit about what we might expect, the typical things to do with Leo season. I'm going to pull some cards for the collective here so you can tune into what might resonate with you, get some just guidance. Like we're just always open to guidance through these, kind of just taking a different approach to gain some perspective. This isn't an astrology reading. I'm not an astrologer. So, just putting that out there, of course. I never want to misrepresent. And then we will move to the second half of this video being a more ASMR style energy work session to support these things. The celebration of the self, working with the inner child, bringing yourself like shining, like letting your soul shine through and shine out of you, like beam out of your dang face, like that's what I feel like Leo season can really help us to connect with and really kind of calls us to do. So for the dates, there's always discrepancy, right? You'll see, of course, but from my understanding, Leo season runs from July 23rd through August 23rd. We have a full moon a full moon in Aquarius on August 3rd, and then we have a new moon in Leo on August 18th. So if you'd like to put those in your calendar, I know that I do. My calendar actually probably has it on already. It's like that kind of calendar, but it's nice to write these things down so you can plan, because as we're approaching the full moon, you might want to be planning on like, well, what am I going to work with? What am I going to be manifesting? What am I going to direct that energy of the moon towards in my life? Not like you have to, but if you want to work with it, it's nice to have a little planning sometimes. Again, you don't even need to plan. You can just do it on the fly if you want to, but some of us like to plan something. We're all different. Sometimes I like to prepare a lot. Sometimes I just kind of get in the zone and do it a little more chaos style, if you will, so whatever comes up for you. But if you want to prepare, you have some time, right? And of course, the new moon is on the 18th, so August 18th, and that is in Leo. And that would be a nice time to begin preparing for, of course, the release leading up to the new moon. And then what seeds am I planting for the new moon itself on the date, basically, is a way we can look at it. So like on the 18th, what am I planting, and what did I release before to make room for what I'm planting? It's just like a nice way to do it. Some people do the releasing during the full moon, so there's not really a wrong way to do it. It's just more so defining your intentions. What are you trying to do? And does it make sense to you? Personally, I really do work with the full moon for manifestations and taking all of that energy of that bright, luminescent, like crazy energy and sending it to something. But that's just me, right? We can all do it our own way. So I never want to be a gatekeeper here or anything like that. All right, so Leo is obviously represented by the lion. And again, like we said, it's represented by the soul, the self, the ego, the inner child. These are wonderful themes to work with. I want to say though, like, I'm just going to keep it very real with you. This is a freaking weird year. This is a really weird year. And I can't talk today. I'm so sorry. But as I was preparing for this and kind of tuning in, a lot that came up was a lot of us have been experiencing depression. I'd say in general, the collective right now has a depressed kind of energy to it, doesn't it? And, you might be personally thriving, but I'm sure you're still able to kind of tune into the fact that, like, there's such a weight and there's such a fear and there's so much hatred and chaos in the world right now that we're kind of in a collectively depressed, although you as a sovereign being might be thriving, and, more power to you, of course, if you are. But the ego, when we speak of the ego, sometimes it gets like a bad rap, right? It's like, oh, the ego, like, oh, that's just your ego talking. We're all always doing our best with our language, of course. The ego is not a bad thing, though. The ego is you in your body with your name and your likes and your dislikes and your path and your experience and, like, what your soul has come into this body to experience. That's collected in your ego, your truths, your just you, like your essence, your heart in a sense. Or if you could picture like whatever magic or web or God or universal kind of force that we all might agree that we're kind of a part of, regardless of the definitions or terms, we're all kind of like, spirit or whatever, like vapor. I don't know. Why can't I talk today? And as that comes through and falls into man and falls into this points of consciousness now where we're separate beings and we're exploring ourselves, we have things that are unfolding for us. We have things that we're called to. And the ego is, and we've covered this before, but the ego is what keeps your vital force in your body. It's what collects and pulls together the electromagnetism or the chi or prana or whatever you want to call it, that is everywhere, but collects it into your body and provides you with, that vital force essentially. So working with the ego, like ego death and all that stuff, like I totally understand if you're tripping or if you're having like a journey experience or it's like a short-term thing in general, or you just kind of get to that state in some kind of trance or meditation. But to kill the ego would be to kill the identity and kill the self. And I don't know. I just don't see the point in doing that, because like why would we come into our bodies to kill our egos? And like it would just be like you're born and then you die again, and you're born and then you die again, like immediately. Like what would be the point? We're here to have experiences. We're here to make connections. We're here to experience ourselves, and I think that Leo season is just such a beautiful time for working with these themes in general. So sorry, didn't mean to make that weird and all convoluted, but it's just like it's a lot going on right now, and this is just a very strange year in general. And I hope that we get a little break with Leo season. I hope that we're all able to kind of like attune ourselves to ourselves and really fall in love with ourselves again and appreciate and really cultivate or connect with rather that will to live of the ego, that will to experience that that potency of just like vitality and being here. And yes, it's crazy. And yes, this is a very, very, very difficult year. And yes, things feel very uncertain. But at the same time, this is the law of rhythm. This is part of, the collective's experience. This is part of the shift in humanity right now. And it's just what we have to deal with. We're all under construction, or the world itself feels under construction, doesn't it? Friendships will probably come up in the forefront of the consciousness as well. And friendships are beautiful, right? Like what can I say bad about friendships or that we need to watch out for? But there is something that's coming up intuitively for me regarding friendships and Leo, or the Leo season. So this is for everyone, not just Leos, although maybe people who are Leo, have a lot of Leo placements, might resonate a little more or agree or disagree a little more with me here. But Leos love to be celebrated, but they love to, and it's not like this, I don't even mean they need the attention. They just want to be like thanked, appreciated. Oh, I see what you did. Oh, you did the dishes for me. Oh, thank you. Like it doesn't have to be put on a pedestal necessarily, but Leo has that energy of celebration and the celebration of the self and understanding and appreciation for each king and queen, each independent thought, each individual essentially. And because they know how good it feels to be recognized or seen or celebrated, they do that for their friends. They see that in other people, and they, cheerlead, or they, support, or they gas you up or whatever. Like, they're great for that. That energy is great for that. But there can be something that we need to watch out for as well, because there are times when someone might feel called to do that, like, oh, I want to shine light on you. I want you to feel what it feels like to be appreciated. I want you to feel what it feels like to have this responsibility. I want you to feel what it feels like to accomplish something and then be recognized for it. And sometimes what happens then is, like, Leos bring people, or Leo energy can make us bring people onto our team, can make us feel like we want to share the spotlight, or like come on, like, this is so great. Look at how good I'm doing. Look at how far I'm getting. Look at how good this feels for me. Come on, like, join my team. And what can happen then is, like, not everybody, the Leo energy is supposed to shine, like, it is the star. It's funny. The star in tarot is the Aquarius card, which is the opposite. So you see this kind of like back and forth here a little bit between the two in general. They're like complementary that way. Just kind of interesting. But they're the star, they're the sun star. Not some far off star, like the sun, So it's about shining. It's about them focusing, or us in Leo season, focusing more on us. And I don't mean to say that in a, like, let's disregard other people, or, let's drop our responsibilities. Of course, like, that's certainly not what I mean. But really, like, when you're doing your work, like, prioritizing the work for yourself, prioritizing the celebration of you, prioritizing your truth, your uniqueness, the things that really, like, make you come alive, instead of trying to make it work where, oh, well, I can cut a little slice off for this person, or, oh, if I give them a little bit of this, then maybe they'll feel as good as I do, or I'm sorry, my words aren't great here, but something along the lines of that. So do be careful on your instincts here. Like, trust your instincts, but check in with yourself and make sure, am I doing this because I want to help this person? And again, that's wonderful, but will it truly help? Is this the right way to go about it? Isn't this kind of their lesson, or isn't this more something that they have to go after themselves? I can't take my personality and, like, smoosh it onto someone. Like, here, take a little bit of this. It doesn't work that way, and we wouldn't want to. But I'm so sorry, my words aren't great here. I hope you can read between the lines and, like, hear me with your heart and see what I'm trying to say. That's just something to watch out for. Cutting up too much of your own pie and trying to, like, make it good for everybody else. This is your pie. It's your birthday cake. Whether you're Leo or not, it's a celebration of the sun, celebration of the self, the soul. This is a great time for us to all get our birthday season in. Like, whether you're a Pisces or whatever, whenever your birthday is, if it connects with you, if it feels good, I would totally take advantage of this season and celebrate yourself. I don't want to encourage you to be frivolous, and I don't want to encourage you to, like, I'm not trying to make this monetary, like, material, but, like, if you can get yourself a new cute set of undies, or face cream, or some fancy hairbrush, or what else is on my wish list? Like, I don't know, like, those kind of things that make you feel good, things that make you feel celebrated, like a little birthday present for yourself, or a little treat. It can be like a cute little cupcake. You could make yourself a cake. You could make yourself a beautiful bath, or treat yourself to your own personal spa day at home, of course. So again, like, I'm not trying to talk about money, but if you have the means, this might be a really good season for just allowing yourself to, again, celebrate yourself, like, receive, take yourself on a date, like, really care about you, look into your own eyes in the mirror. How cheesy can we make this? But just, like, really fall in love with yourself and let yourself do that. Excuse me, let me put this on airplane mode. I didn't realize it was still on. So those are the things that are coming up the most for me. Again, like I said, depression is certainly in the air. The ego, the will to live. It might be a great way to start to do meditations on clearing. How can I say this? We can't just meditate our depression away. Like, I fully understand that. I don't mean it that way, but there might be something that really is powerful for us to work with in these themes in general, that help support any depression that we have being released, or at least processed, processed essentially, shining again that light into ourselves to illuminate, to fulfill, to fall in love with ourselves again, to celebrate the self. Sorry, my words are repetitive, but those are the things that really are coming up the most for me. So I hope that resonates a little bit. I want to move right into the cards because I want to. So let me just switch this around for you here. I will say that the cards have definitely been a bit harsh lately. So let's just keep that in mind. And it's not harsh as in bad news, but it's harsh as in, I don't know, it's just a little rough. It's a little blunt, a little like, along them lines. Okay, so this is upright to me. I will just do my best to switch it around and show you what we're getting here. But we have basically 4 little storylines, and I'm just going to go down each one. So we'll flip them over. Of course, we have the Strength card to start with Leo season. Did we doubt in this one as well? All right, so the first story starts with the Strength card, which of course is the freaking card of Leo. Like, hello, right? And this is just reminding us, of course, that we have a way about us, something, whether it's our delicate nature or our fiery energy, no matter what it is. And of course, you're multifaceted, so it's not just one thing, is it? You're polarizing, you are multifaceted, multidimensional. So you have strength within you. Whatever you're facing, whatever you're experiencing, the beginning here is a reminder that you have whatever you need to get through this. And sometimes the approach will be a more delicate one. Sometimes it's not. Most of, this card, it's not about force. It's about a strength in stability. Consider how, if you've ever been afraid of dogs, or if you've ever come up on a dog that you were uncomfortable around. I don't know. Some people grow up with dogs and they don't have this problem. I didn't grow up with dogs. So whenever I would approach a dog or a dog would be by me, I would get very frightened because I didn't understand like how dogs work, and my energy, my fear, or my, anxiety would trigger the dog. So sometimes the strength is in your vibe. It's in your ability to stabilize yourself and move steadily. It's not about being slow necessarily, but steadily controlling your frequency, your vibration, so that you're navigating and approaching and you're getting so much more accomplished. You're making such huge headway, leadway. I don't know the exact term there, but it's because of your vibe. It's because of your confidence, and it's because of the deliberate workings of your energy, you tuning into like, no, I don't want to approach this with fear. No, I don't want to approach this with anxiety. I don't want to trigger this even more so. I'm going to approach it from my almost stoic kind of approach in a sense. And then we have the Queen of Wands reversed. So I'm going to read the reversals as just internal, and it's very complimentary too. It's another like Leo card, I would say, like very feline as well. So let me just hold it up for you. I'm just going to turn this right side up for you here, just so you can see them. All right. So you have the Queen, she has her familiar, she has lions on the side of her. And the Queen in general of Wands, right? This is about creating, this is about ruling, this is about overseeing, this is about power, and fulfillment and creating things that you truly want. So it seems like where the story is going essentially is that you're finding that your ability to be stoic, your ability to be calm, your ability to pull strength from yourself in a, it is powerful, right? And it might be fiery and it might be very gentle. It's not necessarily about splitting hairs over that, but it's deliberate. It's coming at it with the energy you want to bring to it because that's what you want to see in it. So as you're creating whatever you want, remember to keep that in mind, that you have full power here. I feel like there's something that's been speaking to some of you in your dreams as well, or something that's kind of been communicated to you through synchronicities or little happenstance experiences, or things that are trying to get your attention from a subtle format that are perhaps being brought to light to you, or maybe you'll have that experience over this season in general. And the final card that we have is the Eight of Pentacles, which is about some work, like doing some work, refining, practicing a skill. So whatever it is for you this month, if this does resonate, if you have a goal in mind, or you have been working towards something, or you're just working on your energy in general, it seems like you're kind of called to do it. It's talking to you. It's like people are bringing it up. You're hearing it more in conversation. You're getting like, even YouTube algorithms can sometimes play in sometimes as well, right? So whatever this is tied to, the encouragement is to refine it, to practice it, to do the work, to, even when it feels a little repetitive, even when it feels a little boring, there might be, that can certainly come up when we're practicing something so much, right? But find yourself in the moment, find yourself in the details, find yourself in the productivity and feeling like how good it feels to like line something up. Have you ever, whether you've made Christmas cookies before and you kind of set up little packages for people, or you've made jewelry of some kind, or created something that was a part of something else, like individual things, or gosh, I can't think of another example for some reason. I'm so sorry. I'm still on this steroid medicine, and it really is affecting me a little bit. So I'm very sorry if it's messing up at all in the content I'm creating. I am very apologetic about that. I can't help it right now, though. I can't just stop taking them to wean off of them still. But in general, it's about bringing the energy into it, taking it in a methodical approach. So if you approach this with stress, that's what you're breeding. If you approach this with appreciation, that's what you'll be breeding. If you approach this with the love of the experience and the knowing that you're really refining a skill, then you're bringing that as well. And it will mirror you, because it is you, right? It's like your creations are you in a sense. All right. So for our second story here, oh, how funny. Okay. So this is upside down for me, but we have the Three of Cups. So again, friendships. Celebrating groups, celebrating like-minded connections, celebrating perhaps, some feminine energies. It could certainly be. This certainly has like a feminine kind of connection to it, doesn't it? Or at least the depiction here in this representation of the card. So in reverse, you might have some things in your mind. You may have been thinking about your relationships. You may have been thinking, how can I show up for my friendships? Or I'm not getting what I want out of my relationships, but do I even have that to give right now? Like, how am I? It's almost like a contrast of wanting something but not being able to provide it at the same time. So there's a disconnect, it seems like, in general. And then we have the, Seven of Pentacles. Wait, did I just say 7? Did I mess this up? This one's 8. This one's 7. I'm sorry if I messed that up. It's just, I don't know, my eyes or whatever. But this is about kind of your harvest and reflecting, but kind of feeling like wishy-washy about it. Kind of feeling like, meh. So again, tied to like the relationships here, there might be, you might be just taking stock and being like, God, like, this is my friend group, and oh my gosh, I sound cruel here. I sound cruel. I really don't mean it that way. But we are the company we keep, like we don't want to be the best one in our friend group. And forgive the word best here. Forgive the word. I'm so sorry. Again, my words here aren't wonderful. But we don't want to be like the one that has to carry everyone. We don't want to be the one that's putting in all the effort. We don't want to be the one who's always bringing and thinking and reaching out and when that isn't being met. So it just seems like this is kind of the theme in general. And then how interestingly, we have the Nine of Cups. And this is about really having so much to give. Having so much, you could throw a whole freaking party, invite all these people over with all these cups, and like, I don't know, like, it's great. There's completion here, there's a fulfillment, there's satisfaction. So it might be that some of us really need to figure this shit out, right? Like either we can keep our friends or whatever it is for you. It might be relationships, might be coworkers, it could be anything, but it is social. It's a social thing in general. And you're putting in more than you're getting back. So you don't feel great, but you have, like, if you cut yourself loose from this, again, forgive the expression, but look at all that you have. Like, you'll be taking that on to someplace else, or you'll have it for yourself. And again, this time, this celebration of self, this time for connecting and working with the self and really like putting that energy back into us so we can shine out, so we can really like be the freaking sun in our lives. Because newsflash, right? Like, we are the sun of our lives. Like, the world does revolve around us from our egoic perhaps, but from our sovereign points of view, right? Like, from like me as an individual, I can't see through your eyes, right? I mean, I can empathize, I can imagine, but my life experience is my life experience. The world revolves around me, in my world anyway, right? So there seems to be some kind of encouragement here to withdraw, to pull back, to honor the fact that you're not getting what you want out of this. You're putting in more than you're getting. And if you pull back, all of that shit will just be for you. So like, whether it's money, whether it's like the energy, whether it's the time, whether it's just the emotional, if your friends or whatever it is for you is emotionally draining you, how like massive the balance will shift back to like all of that being back on your table, like back into your pocket essentially, or back into your energetic field. And then you can make a better decision or carry on from that point of just like having it. You know what? I'm probably going to pull clarity cards on all of these. So just, we'll go back. All right. So then we have the 5 of Wands here. So this is a bit about conflict. This is a bit about disorganization, of like too many minds coming together. Again, like kind of like that friend group we talked, not this story, but what we talked about a little bit, like, oh guys, like I got this thing, I want to put it together, I'm gonna camp out. Oh yeah, let's do that. Like, it's just like oh wait, it just like messes the whole thing up. Where like if you did do it yourself, or if like you were the one reading the instructions or whatever it would be, it's like sometimes we try to make things even, but like we all do have our own like strengths, right? So it can't be where we make everything even all the time, like not everybody can pour the cup because maybe they have shaky hands, but you know what they can do? They can pass out napkins. So it's more like making sure that whatever this chaos is in your life, you're creating something, you want to build something, but you have more people involved than needs to be, honestly, is like what it is. This could be yourself, it could be like you're kind of like taking, well, I want to do that and I want to do that, and it could be your own conflict of sorts, essentially, that's like in contrast with what you're trying to build. But it almost, again, like with in my intuition before and stuff, just kind of bringing me back, it seems like you have too many cooks in the kitchen here, right? Is that the way we say it? And then we have the Queen of Cups. So this is about getting back into your power and connecting again with what fulfills you. What was the point? Why am I building this? Am I building this to have a good time and just hang out with my buddies? Because if that's the case, who cares if it gets built? But if you're building something, figuratively or literally, whatever it is, connect again with your fulfillment. Connect again with why you're building it, and like, what does it need to be for it to mean something to you? Is it about, having a party, or is it about like, no, like I really want to get this done. This is part of my foundation. This is part of my extension here. And the way the story is going, it's like, look at the pure structure and the stability of the 4 of Wands versus the 5 of Wands chaos, right? So again, too many cooks in the kitchen or too many conflicting ideas. Connect with you and what you want and what makes it fulfilling to you, so that you can, in an organic and structured and harmonious way, lead to this like marriage, this unison, this perfection. So this could be like dating for some of you as well. Like some of you might have different options on the table and you're kind of like cutting your time between each, but like they might all be tossers, is that a word? Oh God, is that like a derogatory word? I meant like toss them away is what I meant. Goodness, I'm so sorry about that. But they might just be like gone. Like, don't, like, they might just get them out, you know? It might be like that none of them work out. What the guidance is to connect with you and what the heck do you want. Maybe some scrying, maybe some meditation, maybe some connecting, maybe visit a sacred place for you, like a temple, burn some incense, and just, again, like connect with that more mystical kind of, you know, like emotional side of yourself, so that this can be built, or this can be manifested, or this can be brought more effectively into your life versus the contrast of the chaos, right? Okay. So we have in this one the Nine of Pentacles, which is a really lovely card. It's a little melancholy, a little like sappy, a little reflective, a little, I don't know, like that kind of like transitional place, you know, that we kind of come into sometimes of after Christmas morning. Look, when you're a kid, right? Like after Christmas morning or after the birthday is over or whatever it is, it's kind of like, okay, all right, we did it, you know? And it's like, all right, I don't know. That's how I feel sometimes when I plan a big meal or something, which it's been a while for that, but it's like go through all the trouble of getting all the groceries, of getting stuff, of planning, and then you eat it, or then you got to put it away, and now it's leftover. So there's like that, it's kind of that sweet like transitional space of like, I'm still kind of full, but now it's time to kind of turn the leaf a little bit. Now it's time to, you know, start it again. So I'd say this begins with enjoying, you know, that sweet spot in general, and just like honoring and reflecting and kind of patting yourself on the back, or bringing, you know, this could be just the turn of the year essentially for some of you if it's your birthday, and that, you know, kind of like what we talked about already. But I'd say it's worth attuning yourself to, in the sense of like gratitude and, you know, starting there. Then we have the Two of Cups, and this is about, you know, I always see this one as quite Plutonic, you know, particularly this depiction. Plutonic, it has more to do with justice, or excuse me, like reciprocity, loyalty, communication, balance and harmony, and just like support that you find in those beautiful friendships, or in you know, a relationship as well. I do feel more of like Plutonic energy from this, but that certainly doesn't mean that it would apply to everyone. Some of you might really love like, and like get excited about like that you know, Plutonic like super connection of like really knowing and being seen and understood, appreciating your differences regardless, and like coming together and really complementing each other that way. I'm not exactly sure how this plays out with this card, so let's just see the rest of this. We have the Eight of Cups in reverse, which is about letting go of something, but in reverse, it's almost like perhaps reclaiming something. So forgive me, I just need to stare at these a little bit, and I feel like I've kind of spun them around, but this is just the way it is today, guys. So just try not to I don't know, judge, I guess, a little bit here. So savoring that nostalgic kind of energy of like, okay, now we do it again, or yeah, like the crops have been harvested, or you know, we've eaten the cake, we've done the thing. Let me appreciate that. I'm a little confused on this card and where we're going with this, because basically, I just want to show it to you again, right? There's something here about like what comes next, right? But what comes next feels like some type of unison or friendship or recognition. We have another liony head here as well, which is quite interesting, even though it's like a cup card. And just loyalty and honor. So perhaps there's something that you can reflect on through this year, or through whatever it is that if this does resonate with you, whatever it is that you do feel is like kind of come to a completion, or kind of like made the turn, and now it's either time to start it over again, or it's time to kind of let it go and let the project go, or whatever it is. But through it, there's something that remains, and what remains is a friendship or an understanding. This can be understanding of self. This can be understanding of your own loyalty to yourself, how perfect, like we need more of this. This can be an understanding of honoring your own needs, honoring your own polarizing and contrasted kind of like personality within you. You might be very productive, and you might be lazy, and you can love both sides of yourself and honor and communicate between both sides of yourself. Again, I'm just using kind of basic words here, but I hope that makes sense. It is a little tricky for me, this one, though, so I'll just be perfectly honest. And there's something here as well, because this was in reverse when I found it, or I feel the reversal of this card anyway, about reclaiming something or returning to something you've left before, or starting that new, whatever this is done, so now there's time to come back to something else that fulfills you. And in it is some kind of partnership. Again, it could be with yourself, but it does feel like it might be with another person. Something to begin again, something to, I can't put my finger on it exactly. So let's pull some clarity cards for just all of these little piles here. And I'm sorry to do this to you. This wasn't my intention. So we'll work backwards. Start with this one because I'm very curious. Just seeking a clarity card here for this story, for this little. Okay. All right. So we have the Queen of Swords. And this is about getting your mind straight, right? It's about creating from intellect, creating from communication, and creating from a point of like knowing how powerful you are, knowing you could chop someone's head off, but also you can hold the truth, the sword of justice and truth at the same time. It's like a very powerful energy in general that the queens always have, right? So how does this play in? We're returning to our intellect, we're returning to our empowered state, we're returning to remember that, we're that bitch or whatever you want to call it, but that energy of just power, but power of mind and power of will and power of affirmation and power of declaration. So there's something that's completed. There is some type of harmonious relationship. It could be with the self, and we're returning to our own empowerment here that is more mental, more word-based, more thought-based, more technology-based. I'm just going to have to leave it at that. So I'm sorry this one's a little confusing for me. All right, and let's see. Do we need a card for this one? They might be all sloppy, all upside down now. So we have this, and this. Let's ask for a clarity card with too many cooks in the kitchen. Connect with yourself so you can build that future that you want, that marriage, that family foundation, that that foundation. So we're just seeing, is there, okay. All right. Interesting. So we got the Five of Pentacles here. And for me, it's just a reminder of like, don't feel bad about it. Don't feel bad if you have to kick some people out. This doesn't feel like us. This feels like us feeling bad that we couldn't invite them to the party anymore because they keep making a mess of things. Don't feel bad about these things. Just remember, it's always someone else's life that they are responsible for. We've all been embodied with some kind of intention. I do believe that. And I do feel a responsibility to follow our hearts and be as true to us as we can be. And through that, we do benefit other people. But I must say at the same time, we're not responsible for other people. So don't let this, don't let the fact that other people can't help themselves keep you from whatever your like little state of perfection and foundation and happiness might be. They're only outside, quote unquote. They're only in, in this circumstance anyway, because it's part of their journey, it's part of their experience, and very often we're fucking things up karmically when we're like, oh, let me help you. Oh yeah, you can have a piece of my pie. Yeah, I'll give you. Yeah, you can pour the drink. Like blah blah. sometimes it's like to cut someone loose is the best thing we can do for karma, because then their lessons can fully come to them. They don't have a dependency. So you're releasing someone else's dependency through this. All right. Do we need one for this? Let's just see. So we have the friendship situation. You're not really getting what you want. I do want to pull one for this, for sure. So as now that we've kind of released, perhaps this is a lot of this, released a relationship of some kind, or just taken more stock, taken things more seriously, or more realistically, may I say. And even if you don't block them, you might not block them. You might be like, not say, oh, I don't want to be your friend anymore. But you might just pull it back. You might just pull it back and keep it for yourself a little more. It's not selfish. If the reciprocity isn't there, this is the best thing that we can do. So is there a card for clarity here? Does something want to come through? Okay, death. Yeah, so this is a door, you know, a door closing, a door opening. So this does now reflect, I would say for me, you know, we're all different. This is a collective reading, but for me, this feels like, yes, like this will be a new start. By pulling this in to yourself, by returning that energy to yourself, by really setting yourself up that way, it will be a major turn of the leaf, a new chapter altogether, a new door, a new opportunity, a new journey, a new life, really, a new life, a new phase of life that you will experience through this process. All right, and do we need a card for this one? So we had the Strength card, we had the Queen of Pentacles card, and then we had this. So in terms of like checking our vibe, bringing the energy that we want to see reflected back, approaching things with confidence and patience and whatever, so that's the energy that is then returned, knowing that you have something brewing here. You've been receiving messages. It might have been through people, it might have been through dreams, it doesn't matter. There's something kind of bubbling, there's something you know you want to create. There's a lesson here of refining it, practicing it, starting it, doing it, lining it up. So we'll just see, is there a clarity card? Is there a little extra to come through? Is there an extra message here? Anything that we're missing? Anything that could help define this a little more? To let us know what area, what element, what direction this might come through. All right. Oh, how beautiful. All right. So we have here the Six of Pentacles. It was in reverse. And I'm just looking at the card a little. In fact, I'll show you as well. And what this tells me in terms of the story essentially is to remember whatever you're starting here, whatever this project is or this refinement, just be careful not to invest too many resources right away. I can speak from personal experience. I've started many businesses in my life, many little businesses, many little projects, things I thought I was going to do. And, you know, it was a great experience, but I spent a lot of money on ingredients. I spent a lot of money on bottles, on labels. I paid for LLCs. I paid for DBAs. Or one DBA. I've paid for a website being set up, and I didn't use it yet. So don't get ahead of yourself. Don't start like, oh, well, I need to set everything up like legally first. It's like focus on the skill, on the product, on the sharing, on, you know, what you're putting out, the catalog, lining the shelves. Don't focus too much right away on like, well, then I have to pay for this, or now I need a license for this, and now I need to, actually, if I want to start a YouTube channel, I really need that, you know, Canon fucking $5,000. Don't worry about that right now. That balance will come back. The money will flow in through this, or the opportunities or the gifts will flow in through this, which will create the opportunity to get what you need. Don't get ahead of yourself in terms of what you're setting up. Focus on the work, the project, the product, the skill. Don't jump ahead yet. It's not the time for that. All right. So sorry for the weirdness of my tone at all here. I do apologize. Like I said, I'm not feeling too great. So I wanted to just show you quickly the crystals that we'll be using for the session. Let me focus this better. No, I didn't like that. Sorry, it's kind of challenging to do this. So this is a mentor quartz. This is a lithium quartz, but the mentor shape has a primary point and then like little points around the base. This is a really good one for Leo season and the celebration of self and all this stuff, because it's about you, you know, your shining, your voice, your uniqueness, your personality. You're the star of the dang show. You're the star of your show. And a mentor quartz can be very helpful. Sometimes these are called candle quartz as well. Can be very helpful for that. They come in many different types of quartzes, but I just really wanted to bring this one out. And then for the inner child work, I have this cute little pink amethyst that was actually a gift from Earthling 360. I bought something from their shop and they sent me this as a gift, but it's such a cutie patootie, isn't it? It looks like a little like cookie with jam in the middle or something. It has such a sweet inner child energy. Oh my gosh, where is the focus? So sorry. I'm struggling. Let me see if I can try again. I hope that's close enough. But it's just a little kind of like fleshy pink color on the inside. This is a yellow apatite, which is very good for the solar plexus and the heart together, which is great for that ego we talked about in a beautiful way, you know, in the soul experience, and bridging those two. Hiddenite would be another good one to work with. I'm going to pronounce this wrong, but this is like varite or varsite, something like that. Almost sounds like a turquoise. It's difficult to see with the lighting I have here, but it's a gorgeous turquoise kind of color. And again, this one works very good between the heart and solar plexus, and that Leo energy, Leo season energy really speaks to me that way. And finally, this is a golden healer, an absolutely beautiful specimen of golden healer, raw point that an individual on YouTube, John's Corner, I believe, he hand mines crystals. He sent this to me. It was so perfect. Such a treasure. And really working again with that energy of the soul, of the self, of the ego in a beautiful way. Alright, so these are what we'll be using in our session. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed this portion of the video. I'm just going to let the sun do its thing a little so it gets a little darker in here and prepare for the ASMR portion of the video. I will see you shortly and I hope that you enjoy. Alright, thank you. Alright, well, welcome back and thank you for your patience. Just want to warn you, Bamba, there's a storm going on, and honestly, there's been a thunderstorm every single day lately, and I love it. My dog doesn't love it, so he's in the room with me. You might hear a little cute feet tapping if he starts to pace. If he does anything really loud, I'll edit it out, but let's just let the little hyena be comforted by this session as well, hopefully. All right, he gets a little nervous. It's actually morning, so if I look a little sleepy face, this is what I look like in the morning. Put on a little mascara and a little glitter. I don't know if you can tell. Just here, in the shirt that I slept in. Maybe we needed to bring that chill, sleepy morning vibe in. channel a little of that as we light this sacred Trader Joe's candle. I chose this one because it's peony, and if you know what a peony flower looks like, they have these big like heads, right? Like these big puff balls. Even more so than a rose, right? Am I right? It reminds me of Alice in Wonderland, the cartoon, the Disney cartoon, where she was in the garden with all the different flowers, and I don't think that those are peony. I think they were different, but there was this kind of dog or like limey ones. Just the vibe. Alright, so on behalf of your and my and everyone else's highest and greatest good, in perfect comfort and perfect alignment, our intention today is to support the collective, you individually, the entire collective, through this Leo season, to support us through this time, to channel whatever energies, whatever insights, whatever perspectives, whatever motivation, whatever calm and soothing and more on the like cooling things down energy, if that's a thing as well. Whatever we need, we want to be open so that if you choose to, you can come back to this throughout the season or at any time, and it will be beneficial or it will be supportive. But we definitely want to work with themes and invite the themes and more specific intentions of supporting our inner child, supporting our own connection to sovereignty, to our soul, to showing up for us, for living in our truth, for allowing the light of our soul, the light of our ego, in the most higher aspect of ego, to shine through our face, to beam out of our eyes, to flow through us. Our uniqueness, the sun, like the sun, the star, the soul, the light, the warmth, the illumination, the power, the inspiration to flow through, channel through us, benefiting, serving our lives individually, and through that authenticity, benefiting everyone else. So this might seem like a selfish session, and I really don't want to impose that. I really don't want that to be what comes away from this, but more so one of authenticity, of what is your truth, what feels right to you. We can't have someone telling us what to do right now. It's about what is right for us. So I hope we can understand that. It's worth showing you this adorable little shell that I have, that I think I've shown recently. But I love this for my little incense matches. It's so cute, right? Just gonna bring my crystals over and connect with them again with you. The mentor, the point, I almost said dominant, but I don't mean that like aggressively, although some of us might need to channel that too. So I'm not trying to paint pictures of what is right and what is wrong. Some strength, like with the card we talked about, comes through a stoicism, and some strength comes through by letting it out, so we're all in very different places. I don't want to blanket it, but regardless of the theme with the mentor here or the primary, it's remembering you are the primary piece of your story. You are the star of your movie. And to really take that role, it's not just star, it's director, it's writer, it's, I don't know, it's all of the things, right? And I don't mean, of course, to put pressure on us, but just stepping in and claiming that point of view, claiming that perspective. Connect and channel through that power, that reminder that, yes, like I am what I need to focus on right now. My comfort, my mental health, my passions. This is really what we're called to when the sun returns home, when the sun comes back from being gone from its house from 11 months. It's back. And it has to remember who it is. Like, oh yeah, this is my art. This is how I like things set up. Actually, maybe I want to change some things. Maybe I've learned some stuff along the way. But it's through your discernment, your decision, and your authentic connection. So we're just connecting with that and channeling through. Light a candle for yourself. Light a candle for your connection to you, your inner child, your joy, your light in your darkness. Just allow yourself to receive. Just place this here. It's beautiful apatite crystal. It's like a golden, nearly green, like a golden, leaning a little bit lemon lime. All of these do have a theme for me that are similar, I guess we could say. But I love this one, as I mentioned before, for connecting between the ego and the heart, between the heart of the soul and the ego of the understanding of the soul and the actions that the soul takes and the methods or practices or learning or rest. Rest is an action as well. But I just love this one. It's so pretty. I got this in Boulder with my friend. So we'll connect with the energy of apatite. We'll focus between the heart of the soul and the actions and the ego and how we view our soul, how we embody the soul. And just connect them. Bridge those points, get the energy moving smoothly between the two. Tempered, balanced, empowered. I'll try to find the name, or maybe one of you will know it. Rats. Some crystal names really stick for me, and some I lose them quickly. But the light does this no justice, so let me show you the true color here. It's gorgeous, kind of aqua, turquoisey tone. Beautiful markings. Little orbs, little cells. But again, same concept here. Moving through the heart and solar plexus channels to support that bridge. Really coming into our own motivation. I keep hearing like motivation. And I don't mean that in a way that we need to push ourselves to be productive or push ourselves. Like, that's not what it's about. But like that motivation of why we would want to show up so 100% us, why we would stand up to something that is against us, why we would cut something loose that weighs us down, why we would take on perhaps a new study or a new practice in some way that serves our highest good. And the motivation for those things, the most cultivated version of self, cultivating and growing from the soil of what you tend to. You are gardener, you are seed, you are sun, you are the fruit, you are the consumption, you are all of it here today. I'm feeling some pressure in my temple here, my right temple. There may be some lingering, some movement for some of you in thought or in perhaps even a spiritual connection of how I'm saying spiritual, it could be any kind of practice, I guess, but what's worked for you in the past or what's not worked for you in the past. Some kind of pressure for me, just those are my associations. So if that's true, just cover around the crown here, around the brow, the head. Just guide it through. Let it work its way out. Go both ways just to make sure we're covering everything. Just get things flowing. So I'll try to figure out the name of that. Larvite, something. Right, this cute little freaking bonbon here. This pink amethyst that I did bring in for the inner child. It's precious. Looks yummy. You're gonna have it with coffee in the morning or something. But this is a time where we can journey inward into our crystal cavern, into the womb. The inner child has this space, its playground, its comfort zone, its room, like how sacred your room is. If you're lucky enough to have your own room as a kid, how sacred your space is. And sometimes we won't crave that space so much that we find it under a kitchen table, or we find it in the alley of racks when we're at the store with our parents or something. We find these places that we set up like they're ours. It might be a stair. Have you ever slept on a stair when you were a kid? Like I certainly did. I would sleep under the bed. I was always building little things in my closet. I was always looking for my sanctuary. So I wanted to bring this in for that kind of connection of a little retreat if we need it. I know this is about shining and coming out. It is such a strange year. But connect with your concepts of retreat. Draw it for yourself. Paint a picture. Tell a story. Do some photography. What was your sanctuary for you? Was it a space in your yard? Was it under the bed? Just want to channel through this love and feeling of safety and feeling of, may I say, like ownership, claiming, staking. This is mine. This is my secret space, my special spot. And of course, this can be astral, this can be dreamlike, this can be the imagination, surely. I think it kind of has to be if it's a stair. So just connect and receive. Golden healer. It's truly gorgeous. These are incredibly activating, incredibly validation comes up. I was chatting with a friend online who received a golden healer in a way that just like made confirmations. And my receiving this one was the same way. So there's just kind of something going on with healers, golden healer energy coming into your life potentially, even through a video, to tell you you're on the right track, or tell you like, yes, and the tools will show up. Be authentically you, be authentically in your alignment, and every tool, every resource, everything you need to get that done, to have that experience, to live as you, as you in this life experience will show up for you. And I want to say, of course, I agree with the concepts of ascension, with transcending, but that doesn't take away the fact that we are here. We have stories, we have blood, we have DNA, we have history, we have passions, we have uniqueness, and we should not be forcing that away from us under the guise of, well, I'm ascending, so I don't see this anymore, or I don't connect with that. We cannot deny the reality. I don't think we should flex too hard in it either, but anyway. So I really want to work with this one now. Connecting, calling in the energy of golden healer, of the earth realm, of the soul experience, of showing up as you. And that might be under a blanket fort, and that might be, I almost said in Times Square, like it's not about where, it's it. Oh goodness. So we're just gonna focus, calling through. I'm actually called to work down a little lower, calling up these golden ribbons, calling up this golden healer energy. Picture what's in the earth, the warmth of the soil, of the blades of grass, of the water that's been heated by the sun, warming, rising, washing over you, coming up like strands through your embodiment, through your subtle embodiment, your etheric embodiment, and the most dense, true embodiment as well, through your cells, through your pathways, through your currents, through your channels, through your emotional, creative centers, through your points of self, of movement, through your soul experience, through your mind, your innate mind, your divine mind, your connected mind, your intuitive mind, and your spiritual connection to what lies beyond, and the rapport you have with your higher self, with your soul communication pouring through you. And shift your focus to that of the sun above you, beaming down. So it's like when you want to get and there's something about Mary when the lady wants to get a tan on her face, so she puts a mirror. You're calling it from below and above, because the sun, yes, comes from a direction, but the energy of the sun bounces around and collects here and comes out through chlorophyll, perhaps we could say. I'm not trying to science this up, but as an example, or eating a juicy orange or watermelon or pineapple or something. Receive from both ways here, from this star, the star of life. I'm seeing foxes. lions, of course, right? Just all this like hair. This was a gift from my friend Matt. I don't know if he's watching, but I believe this is a organite with amber in it. If he's watching, I'd love for him to correct me if I'm wrong. But look how stunning this is. Very Dragon Balls, I know. But amber, that golden sap, that honey, right? Would there be amber without the sun? I guess who's to say, right? But I just wanted you to focus on this with your eyes gently, not too hard. Focus on that fiery, warmth source of energy. See how you can call it into your life. See how you can let it charge you like a solar panel. Charge your spirit, charge your body. Awaken, illuminate, and just hyper empower you. I love the sound of resin. So I hope that with the work we've done right now already, we've really, again, started to cultivate this like beaming of self. Like, it's not just receiving, it's not just the light coming down, it's the light that's within. It's touching on the sun within you, the soul, the light within you. And as we connect with that, we shine out, we blast out, and there will be things to be released. There will be fragments that fly off. There will be dust. There will be things that have weighed us down. There will be fog that is released. It's inevitable. So I wanted to bring from the Rattle Maker on Etsy, Sean Walking Bear, this one's really cute, little hummingbird rattle, and just help to break up what's around us, to break up what's kind of like you could picture dropping a book on the floor of an attic and like the dust flies, like dropping the story of you, the truth, what you have declared, the pages you have written, and like it clears. I hope that's a visual that makes sense. All right, so I'm going to start around the shoulders. Up the head. Down the back. We're just clearing off the dust, clearing off the weight. Clearing off the perceptions that we ever thought we had to dim our light, that we ever had to be small, that we ever had to inhibit ourselves for someone else. And I know there's, Leos can be a little blunt. Leo energy can be a little blunt. I don't mean just like be a dick, Clearing that staircase of the spine, dusting it off. Down the arm. Off the fingers. Down the other arm. jaw or like cheekbones. Seeing pink clay, like a fancy pink clay mask. Right down under of your core, the center of this channel. Down the legs. The back of the legs. Well, lower back first. And then down the back of the legs. Under the feet. So when I kick off your shoes, you know, just a little more by the shoulders here. Because again, you've been taking stuff on. You've been using your light to pull people in, to give them a chance to get a taste of what it's like to be in tune with yourself or with a mission or a purpose. But what happens is it creates an eclipse, it creates blockages, it creates clouds over your own light. It's not, there are times when that is a beautiful thing, but the theme here has been that for many of us, not all of us, it's been too much, it's been draining, and we want those 9 cups back. We want to call those 9 cups back. We're not responsible, we're not responsible to solve everyone's problem. We're responsible for our next step in authenticity, our next step of self, our next step of what is right to us, our next step with what we feel loyalties to. I'm just going to go around, a little haphazardly, clear up anything else. Going out, outer realms of the auric field. Behind you, really let it go. Created by one of my wish I was friends, internet friend, you know, expressive earth, fiery energy. And I just want to share, like, this is not about a one-man show. This is not about, like, oh, I have to do everything myself. That's not what I mean. I just mean about really looking at this, looking at your motives, looking at the reality, and releasing anything that's taking you out of being your most authentic self. We're just kind of purifying with a little water here. That is this incredible atmosphere mist by Angela Mary Magic. Shout out. Love it, love it, love it. All right, we want to take a moment to call in the aligned, call in the right connections, call in the friends that are not here to and tick and block your own light and ride your coattails or whatever it is. I'm sorry, I don't know. I don't even know what that means exactly, but it's not about someone else riding your wave. It's about calling in now the support, the other kings and queens, the other people who are on the level of doing what you're doing with the same level of vision, not the same vision perhaps, but the same level of passion, the same level of showing up, the same level of truth in themselves, of independence in themselves, of sovereignty in themselves, to, I don't want to say join forces with, but more or less join forces with from that perspective, to have equality in our relationships, in the energy of our relationships. All right, does that make sense? And this is not to be harsh. This is not to say like, we only wear pink on this day or whatever. I really hope you're reading between the lines here and know what I'm trying to say. But we want to call that in. Send out our own boom. Use our own roar. Say, I'm freaking here. This is what I do. It can be energetically in our heads. It can be a freaking blog. Like, I don't know. But showing up and remembering you're going to hear the return. You're going to hear the return roar. You're going to be seen by someone who also knows that truth, who knows that path. And there's something just so incredibly powerful about that recognition and holding space for one another in that way, of course, but also the energy of, I don't want to say positive thinking, but of like, let's get it done, or let's be real, or let's keep it in, for in line with truth most, as regards as difference of, oh, but I don't think I can do that. And you're like, no, let me keep cheerleading you. Let me keep telling you can do it. Let me keep letting you know. Let me keep being that person for you. It's like, we're all always going to have those. But we want to call in the return roar. Allow our voice, our projection of self, our word, our sword, our fire, our wand, but to be expressed in return. So just take a moment and connect and call in your own power, connect with your own power, express your own power, declare yourself, hear yourself scream, hear yourself roar, hear yourself get guttural, hear yourself a cappella, freaking opera, I don't know, but hear it in your head. See yourself on the cliff, on the freaking Simba cliff, you know what I mean? Let it out and gaze over the horizon. Listen. Do you hear things from different directions? Do you sense things? Or can you just trust that it's out there and the echo, or whatever you want to call it, the return will come back? So we just want to take a minute and honor that there are many others of us out there. We're all here, living our truth. Like this thunder behind me. I'm seeing a cat eye. How funny, like a cat eye right in front of my face. I'm called to speak about Lion's Gate, this portal coming up, 8/8. Just gonna channel. Seeing a shape I don't recognize. It's like a carving, like a relic, maybe even a cabochon. It's almost like a coffin shape. It's not a coffin, I'm not saying anything like that, but like the shape of a coffin or the shape of a sarcophagus. And again, right, like who was buried in those kings and queens, no? Just channeling that empowerment to you. Because it's in you. These just set off little pow pow pows to wake it up or bring it to the surface or get it moving more. This is an apothecary intention wear spirit animal. This one is snake. But it really just wanted to come out. So, I'm just going to use a little on your eyes, around your eye. This area, the bone structure of your eye is a better way for me to say that. Feeling like superhero vibes. Like Batman. Gotta reach in. Let that superhero of yourself come out, right? Balance. Just gonna brush through. Fan the fire a little, the fire within you. Clear the ashes, clear the soot. Clear what has, it's not, it's just time to move on from something, whatever that is for you. Time to move on from making yourself small. Time to move on from not living in your most authentic truth to make others more comfortable necessarily, or to fit in. We're not meant to fit in. Again, please try your best with my words here today. We're here to be and show up. Explore, grow, change, shift. And sometimes fitting in serves us, particularly in our younger years, our earlier life. But this season is not about that. Bloodstone is coming in. Maybe some of you would like to work with bloodstone. Okay. What else do I want to use with you? Alright, so we're just going to do some channeling now. And I invite you to set an intention course, on behalf of your highest and greatest good, in perfect comfort and perfect alignment, to call in the highest qualities of self, the most true to this day, true to this time, true to this moment, connection of you, who you're becoming, who you've always been, who you were born as, and who you were born to be. And call this through your own inner power, the healing of your inner child, the release of judgment between your light and darkness, right? Or your light and shadow. And just pure empowerment attuned to who you are. You're coming home, right? Like the sun is coming home. The soul is coming home. We go on journeys. I can see like a fire in the fireplace as if I'm looking through a window on the outside, and inside I can see like a house or a space with a fireplace. Seeing I don't know the name of this deity. Guadalupe comes in, and I have no reference. I'm just gonna honor Guatemala, some type of major stone structure with like a mouth or something. Maybe the thunder's helping you. The rain. The power. The grounding of energy in general. The cutting through. The breaking up. Sometimes, if all of you are listening to this, and some people might be like, I don't want to end my relationships. I don't want to do it. It doesn't necessarily mean that like it has to end, but the dynamic can shift, and that ends that relationship. But there can be the same partnership in a new relationship together. New energy, new approach, new dynamic, new truth. Don't be afraid to make those changes. Don't be afraid to express your needs, your demands, your requirements. And connect with your strength. Connect with your strength. Channel your strength in all its many forms, mediums. Hold yourself, love yourself, accept yourself. There is no perfect ruler, there is no perfect someone who does everything right every time. But what's most right is what's most truthful for you. I don't know if you saw the lightning there. I'm seeing a necklace or talisman now with like a kind of diamond or kite shape. clear. This is the aura one. There is support, there is help, there are aligned people, right? We just have to really use our truth and our discernment for that. Be your own cheerleader first. And in that you will find your convictions. This isn't about like, it's all about me. And your convictions will speak to you, and you will go in to battle for something if you need to. You will stand up for something. You will wear it more proudly that this is part of your conviction. This is something that's meaningful. This is something you stand for. This is part of it, right? So all of this comes through when you're most confident in yourself, though, no? It's hard to stand up for someone else when we can't stand up for ourselves. Sometimes that can be the motivation, I guess, but you know what I'm trying to say. Feels good. I hope you feel good. I hope you feel like a big gold goblet right now, full up of energy for yourself. When you're full, you can share, of course, but we first have to receive from us. We first have to make us the priority here. And it's not like my needs are more important than yours, but my connection with myself is more important than my connection with something outside of me. It's always about us, right? Okay. Sorry, I'm tripping up so much with my words today. All right, so thank you so very much for allowing me to share a little piece of your path today. I send you from the very bottom of my heart so much love, so much gratitude, special thank you to those of you supporting this channel on Patreon. I hope you're enjoying the content over there. I'm just so grateful. Thank you to everyone who I've been blessed to work with and connect with, and everyone just watching these, thank you. But special thanks to those of you who kind of, that I get even that much more of the vibe with, that take it to that level. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful. I bow, of course, to the divine within you. I honor you as your king, queen, whatever you want to label as the ruler of you, the sovereign being you are. I honor you in your divine power, and I always hold you in that space. And, I honor myself in this space as well. So this connection we share, I bow to it. All right, so very much love to you, of course. Happy birthday again to Leos, and namaste.